afternoon, everyone. How's everyone feeling? Happy. That was the first. Well, my job is done. I'll see you later. That's awesome. Thank you for having me here. It's quite an honor, and I'm really excited. I'm really passionate about this space in healthcare for many reasons. I'll go into that later, but I flew in last night and got in the evening, you know, and then just walking around, nice outside, warmish weather, quiet evening, and came inside to the Gaylord here, and all of a sudden I hear this loud roar coming up from this area in the back there. And so I walk up to the front desk to check in. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, well, are you here for AMGA? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's you guys. They're at the bar. I'm like, I think I'm going to get along with these people. So it's really cool. I first have to say kudos, congratulations for powering through all these these few days of your conference. I know it's not easy, especially lasting to the end keynote. It's always interesting to me to see who shows up to the last closing keynotes, because especially on a Saturday, thinking through the different reasons. Number one, you might be curious about how you might deliver happiness to your organization or to yourself, which I'm honored to share some tips and how-tos and stories. Number two, you might just be super passionate about what you do, which I'm guessing you probably are. Or number three, you just are looking for another excuse to boondoggle with your friends for another day at the bar and the club. Or all of the above. I don't judge. But in any case, this is all to say thank you for hanging out to this time, because when I was talking about how passionate I am about this space, we've had the honor to work with, and I believe some of them are part of this organization, really great companies and hospitals and institutions to really take these concepts that I'll be talking about. So they include like the likes of Northwell, ChristianaCare, Baystate. So basically, all these things might seem conceptual, but what I love about sharing these stories is that they were proof in the pudding to show how to take what we call meaningful, sustainable happiness within organizations to address the common problems that we have right now, like burnout and engagement and resiliency. How do we address all these things in a holistic way? So that's why I'm really excited to talk more about it with you. And I wanted to sort of meta it out and summarize where our approach comes from. So DH, Delivering Happiness, I've been in space for over 15 years, and what I've come to learn through all of this is that it really comes back to this really simple equation. If we can create workplaces that have happier employees, that will equal happier patients in your case, and then that'll equal more sustainable organizations. But most importantly, we're also creating meaningful lives. And so when I say that, automatically, some people automatically think about their patients, but what I'm also talking about, meaningful lives within your teams, within your organizations, within yourself, of course within your patients, but also within your greater community. So when I say this equation, a lot of people nod their heads because, you know, it kind of makes common sense. But then the natural question is how? How do you actually do this? How do you create some sort of ideal culture and actually scale it as your company and organizations and hospitals changes? So for me, I wanted to start with this idea of culture, because we hear it all the time in the world, this word that just keeps on saying, what's your culture, what's your culture? So for us, we want to kind of pin it down as to what we believe it to be. So for organization, strategy is what you think, brand is what you say, and culture is what you do. And half jokingly, culture is what you do when your boss isn't looking. When we think about the Ubers of the world and the Wells Fargos of the world, we all know how that can impact everything else when the culture can be toxic. So to borrow a quote inspired by Mr. Gandhi, happiness is when you think, say, do, are in harmony. So it's when your strategy, brand, and culture are in harmony.